Yeah, boy. All right, where are we on sound? Can you hear my microphone or not? It's really messed up again. I can't tell if you can. Yeah, really? Cool. All right, it's a Friday. Good time to be alive. I got my Corona shorts on today. It's going to be 80 degrees in Georgia. Yeah, cut off the music. We'll cut off the music. Anyways, it's going to be a beautiful day. Let's make some money. Let's make it a great day. What if I click that button? Okay, so I think that solves that problem. Wow, I wonder why everything changed. All right, so I think you can hear me clearly. Let me remind you that trading's risky, not appropriate for everyone. Let's see if I can get my radio voice. Good morning. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results, but please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money cannot afford to lose. Huh? Ni hao ma. Hi, my name is what? Does that have to be there? There we go. Cool, that's a little better, right? So, good morning. Nice to meet you. My name is Wayne. Welcome to Forex.Today. So, this is where we get together as a community of Forex traders. We align our satellites. We take a look at the markets technically. We talk about the markets fundamentally. We help each other create trade plans. We keep each other psychologically strong. So, thank you for being part of this community. Make sure in the chat that you treat your fellow Forex traders with dignity and respect, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Now, please keep in mind that you ask a question, I start looking at my charts, I start answering your question. It might take me 5 or 10 minutes to go through in great detail how to answer your question, and meanwhile, 45 other questions have been asked. I can't answer 45 questions at once. So, stay with it, stick with it. If I don't see your question today, it's not because I don't like you, it's not because I'm mad at you. Maybe we can get to it tomorrow. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So feel free to ask questions. Just stick with it, right? Look, Hope says, hey, Wayne, I got the euro based on your council yesterday. Already took profit. Thanks, tons. Yeah, buy me a bottle of wine. Cool. Now what? I think we should thank Traders Wave for making these webinars possible. So please do so by visiting tradersway.com, open up a demo account. Then from your back office, download MT4, place a bunch of demo trades, check it out. You'll see fast execution speed, low spreads, large swaps. Okay? On top of that, maybe you'll find world-class customer service as well. And then maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some time, you'll develop the skills and confidence you need from attending these webinars to start trading real money. And at that point, hopefully they've earned your loyalty and respect and you choose them to be your broker. Pretty simple. Okay? So they're investing into you today, hoping that you become a success in the near future. And when you feel that success has arrived and you're ready, you say, you know what? Traders Way has been good to me, so I'm going to go with them. Yeah. So, throw your diamonds in the sky. Thank you, Traders Way. Huh? Was that good? Anyways. Cool. Yeah, and I love South African wine. I'm an investor in I'm a member of an angel investment group that puts my money into independent vintners. The way they do that, because imagine you make wine, you have to like grow a vineyard. Great, that takes a while, and then once it produces grapes, you got to like make wine, and that takes a while. And then once you got all this great wine that you've aged for 6 months in an oak barrel, now you got to sell it. I mean, that's a whole different skill, right? So anyway, so we buy up their entire crop so that they don't have to worry about selling it. We say, hey, just keep making fabulous wine. We'll just buy every drop. So it's a cool group, and they've started investing in South Africa. So there's a few South African wines. Most of the wine is either in Washington State or in California, but now they're expanding to Argentina, to South Africa, and to Australia. So it's pretty cool. And there's a few French ones too, so it's pretty interesting. Chenin past the Chenin Blanc. I love that. So anyways, I'm glad they've reached out to South Africa because South Africa's got some fantastic wine. All right, cool. So let's get on with it. Bitcoin up, 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 up. Okay, cool. Now, that's the perfect spot. Let's talk about this. Where did we start the week? We started the week at M2. Whoa, that's a little on the thick side. Let's try this. Let's redo it. Okay, we started the week at M2, and that's a swing trade buy. Okay, that's a swing trade buy. Target's way up here, but you got to remember last week was ridiculous. Now, one of the things we were focused on, not just on Bitcoin, but like all of our charts, all of our trading charts, is to confirm, to reestablish our bias, or every day you want to say you either want to buy Bitcoin or you want to sell Bitcoin. Okay? That's how most people do it. You love Bitcoin or you hate Bitcoin. Great. Cool. So every morning you should go through the routine and say, hey, you know what? I still hate Bitcoin. And that's that. Then you open your charts and you say, are these market conditions favorable for hating Bitcoin, or is it more favorable for loving Bitcoin? And then you ask yourself, what do I know? And you go through sort of the facts. Okay. And by the way, this is the kind of stuff we cover in the swing trading group, getting yourself focused, right? And so we do know this is a buying pivot, not a selling pivot. Now, if you were a seller, you would have sold there, jammed your stop, and off you go, right? Or maybe you locked in some profit, or maybe you did something. But my point here is there's a lot of clues to show you somewhere in here that bigger move has been challenged, and maybe you should back off the risk. Okay? Doesn't mean this won't fall again in the near future, but you have to understand where this was down and then sideways and then down and then sideways and then down and then down and then down. That's a long way. Now, if you've read my book, there's a spot in there where I talk about professional traders fear profit. Amateur traders fear loss. Okay? But professional traders fear profit. Because a professional trader doesn't fear loss. They don't lose that much. And when they do, it's not a big deal. So there's no fear. That's the whole thing. There is no fear. You expect to win. That's why you trade. Why would you trade if you didn't expect to win, right? You see the logic there? Hey, Pompo. So the fear of profit comes from you made too much money too quick. And you get paid to make money if you trade other people's wealth. So you need to make money. And so when you have it, you fear like, oh my God, I could book it right now, show my clients how awesome I am, and everyone would be happy. And even if it dropped another 5%, no one would notice. So there's this fear of your profit and giving up part, right? Oh, is it part 3? Right on. Thank you, Seth. Or Sheth. Okay. And then you kind of put that into here, and you can see there's lots of clues to maybe lock in your profit. One of them was you're still a bear off the 21, but a breach of the 21, excuse me, a breach of the 21 says, whoa, 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 potential bottom. Okay? And you throw that into there, and you're like, dude. Okay? Doesn't say long, but it really says, if you're a bear, you should probably take a walk. Now, it might do this, but might isn't very good as a strategy. If you were going to be short, you would have shorted here, and you would have put your stop somewhere else, and you would have managed it, and you still would have been out in here, right? So if you're a bear, you're not in this anymore. You would have locked in profit, and maybe down here was better, okay? But whatever, there's a lot of hindsight. You don't really know. But what I'm telling you is there are clues that you should look for. So when was it that I went back over MACD with you guys? When was that? It was just Monday or Tuesday, wasn't it? Do you guys remember? I busted it back out and I said, hey, you should look at the distance between the two moving averages, but sometimes it's hard to see because they're so minor. You know, what if we had a tool that would measure that for us? And everyone's like, well, that's what MACD does. And I'm like, oh, good. So I did a MACD review. Okay. And I showed you when MACD is telling you, hey, brah, it's doing this, or hey, brah, it's doing that, and how it's meaningful and not meaningful and all that kind of stuff. It was meaningful in here. And then, of course, it's actually technically bullish right now. On this 1 hour chart, this has been bullish all day. Do you remember that whole speech about, hey, you need to confirm your bias, you hate Bitcoin, and then confirm market conditions? Hey, market conditions are bullish. Well, you don't have congruency, do you? So you have two choices, do nothing or lose money. Right? It's not a tough decision, as you can see. I can blow you away, or you can trade with me. I said I'll trade with you if you can trade me with the... I can't convert that one into a Forex song. I tried, but... I traded like this. I traded like that. I traded with a wiffle ball bat. Anyways, still doesn't quite work. So anyways, we spent a lot of time yesterday in the swing trading group talking about that to measure the finesse of when to be strong and when to be calm and when to kind of panic. So NP says investors risk on. Well, what did we talk about on Tuesday? I said, hey, there was an amazing shift on the 10-year T-note yield. How many people remember that? On Tuesday, I'm like, holy crap. Did you see the jump on the 10-year T-note yield? It almost doubled. How many people remember that? It was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it happened on Monday. I talked about it on Tuesday. How many people remember that? Okay? And I said, that could be the sign. I don't know now, but these are the things I look for. So NP's like, so investors risk on? Well, that's what we talked about 4 days ago. No, 0.7 to 1.1. Yeah. So, in the moment, we don't know, but I'm trying to show you the relevant information that I pay attention to. I hope you remember that. Right? So coming in 3 days late going, hey, investors risk on? Like, what? What? Yeah, that's what we were talking about Monday. So between Monday and now, there might have been a change, right? Does anyone remember earlier in the week talking about buying oil at 22 and never getting out? Ever? I said something like, I think, rightly or wrongly, I believe Saudi Arabia's price is really like 15 bucks. I think their break even generally is 13, but no one wants to, right? They don't need to go to break even, right? So the number is somewhere between 20 and 15, you should be a buyer. Everybody has that clear, right? Did you know yesterday was the biggest rally in oil in the history of trading? And the day before the biggest day ever in recorded history for oil trading, I said, hey, wouldn't it be interesting to buy this and hold it forever? And let me tell you why. We're approaching $20 a barrel, or we attacked $20 a barrel, and I believe somewhere between 20 and 15 we should be buying. And maybe, just maybe, you never ever get out. You hold it for 1,000 years. And the next day is the biggest rally in history. Well, that's interesting. So, again, sort of picking on NP, and I'm not personally picking on you. I'm just using you as an opportunity to educate everyone. Yeah, maybe there's some risk on in the market. Yeah, maybe. But can you see, like, there's clues going on here? These are not just random numbers. Saudi Arabia said, drive it down to 20 and stop. Okay? Teo says, why would you never get up? Well, because one day it might be worth $500 a barrel or $5,000 a barrel, right? It's like Bitcoin is going to go forever. Yeah, I mean, what I mean is you're not going for $200 profit. Okay? Well, Daniel, your lot size is already incredibly low. So that wouldn't do anything. Okay? The reason you have a low lot, a small lot size is so that you can make 20 or 30 trades and never be over leveraged. Okay? You make one trade, it gets profitable. Make a second trade, it gets profitable. Make a third trade, it lose a little. Place a fourth trade, that gets profitable. Place a fifth trade, that breaks even. Place a sixth trade, that goes profitable. Meanwhile, you're moving your stop, remove the risk, place another trade. And your goal is to have 30 or 40 small trades, not 3 or 4 big trades. Do you understand? Because that way you can take a shot and never have much risk. Take another shot, never have much risk. Now imagine on top of that, you're not going for a lousy 15 or 20 pips. What's the point? Why even get out of bed for that, right? So what if you put in 20 or 30 good trades and let them all run? And every time, right? And just manage the risk. Move the stop, move the stop, move the stop. And you have 20 or 30 independent trades. The reason you do that is it would be extremely rare, if your lot size is truly small, that you had less than 95% available credit, available margin. You would never, ever be over leveraged. Never. You're like, I got 30 trades open. Yeah, but you're not risking much. You understand? Yeah, Jim says 2%. I wouldn't even do 2%. I wouldn't do 1%. That's me. Okay? That's me. I wouldn't risk 1% of my account on one trading idea. I wouldn't do that. Okay? I'd like to not be over leveraged, right? Yeah, maybe. But whatever. The point is, you can't really make your lot size any smaller because you're already so small. Okay. Well, remember, Daniel, you don't achieve 6% a month. The market gives you 6% a month, or it doesn't give you 6% a month. Okay? So what would probably be a better model is to say somewhere between 2 and 6% is all right. Bernie Madoff only promised people 1% a month, and he raised billions and billions and billions and billions. And he said, you know what? I just promise you 1% a month, low volatility, consistent returns. That's all he said. I'll get you 1% a month. No matter what happens, I'll get you 1% a month. And billions and billions and billions poured into his fund. Now, he was a lying son of a bitch, but that's all he promised. And he had more money than God. You understand? So 6% is ridiculous. The best professional traders produce 2% a month. The best, right? The best do 2% a month. And how long do they do it? Well, I don't know about that, right? I don't even know that. So, 6% is actually pretty funny, right? Oh, I just tried to do 6%. Oh my God, right? So anyways, you can't get any smaller because you're already that small. That's how I'd like you to answer those types of questions. You're already so small that you can't get smaller. And every single trade you take has almost no risk because that trade is small, but you shorted here, 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 right? You move your stop to break even, then you make your second trade. Move that to break even, make a third trade. Move that to break even, make a fourth trade. That to break even, make a fifth trade. Move that to break even. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades open and 100% available margin, which means you have zero risk. All right, some of you guys have an echo, is that correct? Okay, let me... All right, try this. Tell me this is good. Tell me this is good. You're like, wow, this sounds really good. No. Yeah, it's the worst. What happened? I know what to do, but I'd rather fix it. Hang on. Hang on. See, this is supposed to work wonderfully. I don't know what's changed. Hang on. So, okay. How about this one? Tell me that's better. You are not alone. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plains. Still very low. Is that right? No, it can't be low. Base, how low can you go? Death row. What a brother know. Once again, back is the incredible rhyme animal, the incredible D, public enemy number 1. 5-0 said freeze, and I got numb. Can I tell them that I never really had a gun, but just a wax Terminator X spun? Now they got me to sell because my records they sell because a brother like me said, well, okay, we got that? All right, we're all good then? Thank you, microphone people. Okay. Never mad at the fact he's corrupt like a senator. Soul in a rope. Anyways, we don't have to go there. Okay, cool. So the idea, going back to what we were doing, is you have a bias, you're trading a bias, you have a raison d'etre, you know what you're going to do tomorrow because you planned it out today. The thing is, you need to always confirm, do we have market conditions to carry out your strategy? Okay? If there's a thunderstorm outside, it's not a good day to go golfing. We're pretty good at these things. Okay? So we need to pay attention. Faux show. Okay. Let's go back to crude. You guys going to buy it? What's the plan, Stan? Look at where the resistance was. I already have it marked. You're welcome. Okay. So there is some sort of logic. I'm going to point some things out. If I can click the right spot. What do you think about that? By the way, I had a funny thought today. How many people here believe oil will be higher 1 year from now? 365 days from today. No, Kiko. I'll do that. Okay? All right, cool. Also then, how many people believe oil could go to zero in the next year? In the next year. Zero. $0. Oil will be absolutely free. You could just take it from anywhere. Even Saudi Arabia will just throw away their trillions of dollars. Okay. So this, right? So if I placed one contract buying this right now, I'm risking $1,000 per dollar. Okay? So if this drops from 26 to 25, I'll lose $1,000. But there's something like $37,000 or $38,000 in this account. Isn't that interesting? I could just buy this one contract and walk away. I couldn't lose enough money to get a margin call. And I don't think it would go down to $8 a barrel. It might go down to 15, but I don't think it'll go down to 8. And then maybe in a year it's 50. Isn't that an interesting thought? I'm not saying it's a good thought, but if it goes to 50, I double my money. And if it goes to 0, I won't lose. I don't think it'll go to 0. I don't think it can go to 0. Right? It's an interesting thought. Now, what if you did that with $1 billion, right? Yeah, what's the swap? So we can look at that. Yeah, what are in futures, by the way, or actually in the cash market, we call that carrying cost. It's not swap, but I know what you're saying. For some reason, I can't get this to move. Hello. There we go. Still won't move. Well, then let's do this. All right. Oh, good. It's selected. All right. So, yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? You're losing pretty big money being long term. Probably not enough to make it that big of a deal, though. It's just a carrying cost. So yeah, it's a bit of a concern. It's not the end of the world, but it's a bit of a concern. The swap is reasonably high. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys want me to do one and we can just watch it and see what happens? Should I drop a contract on this at 25, let's say? Just for eye candy, I can say buy limit. Hello, where did it go? Do it at 20. Well, we already hit 20. Hang on. Why didn't it go in? Oh, now I got 2. Oh, and it's not even a full lot. Hang on, I got to do both of these. You know what? Hang on. Can I change it? I don't actually often change it from the fly. I always have everything preset. Boy, that's taking a long time. Huh. That happened on the other one too. It took twice for me to get that out. Anyways, yeah, I typically don't change it. I already have everything preset. So there you go. One standard contract. Yeah, I wanted to see if I can do it the other way too. There you go. So this is your trade. This is it. This is your trade. Good luck to you. All right. So let's move on. Noki falling means oil probably continue down a little bit. Let's do gold. A lot of people want to do gold. Okay. Okay. So, do you like selling at support? No. But next week's trade, if you're a bear, is to sell it, at 15.25, and your target. I have to go up to a 4-hour. Your target for next week is down there, so you're going for 14. So you're selling at 15, going for 14. Okay. And then if that fails, bulls have a great place to be buying. Okay. So you got a double whammy here if you're a bear. If you can breach that as a bear, you're going to pick up $100 pretty easily. In fact, you'll probably pick up $200 because it'll drop out of position and hit your hit 13 probably in the first or second week of next month. So there's two things. Okay, if you're a bear, it's going to look like this now. Okay. If you're a bull, we're not going to breach this, and it's going to go up here. Okay? Prince Philip says, why don't you put the limit where you marked it? I don't understand. Will I be shorted? No, 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 no. No, I wouldn't. No. See, I explained this probably on Wednesday. There's no need for Saudi Arabia to drop it to 15. They could, of course, but there's no need. Because 99% of the world pays more than $20 to produce a barrel of oil. So they already got people, they're already winning their war at 20. Okay? Russia needs more than 25 bucks a barrel. Canada needs more than 25 bucks a barrel. Libya and Iran and Iraq, right? Angola, they all need more. Nigeria, they all need more than $25 a barrel. Venezuela probably needs $50 a barrel. Okay? Fracking needs $45 a barrel. So Saudi Arabia has already achieved its goal. So why drop it from 25 to 15? Like, now they're only hurting themselves. So right now they're picking up $10 a barrel profit. It's better, and everyone else on the planet, except a very small few, are losing. King, turn your TV off and do your own analysis. Okay, King, I'm being absolutely serious. Learn how to do your own technical and fundamental analysis. Okay? So my last trading computer, not the one behind me. The one behind me I've had less than a year. They're all 4K screens. The problem is you can't plug 6 4K screens into one computer, right? So I had to have a custom computer made. And then I'm like, well, I just want a whole bunch of 4K cards. So like, well, you need a custom motherboard if you're going to run that many 4K cards. And then you're going to need a power supply. And then you're going to need a blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just build it, dude. Here's some money. Build it. But my last one was interesting because it that ran all those 1080p screens. That one, I had the drivers on the sound card removed. So when I did have TVs up and I was watching Bloomberg and I was watching CNBC, there was absolutely no sound. I couldn't even turn sound on if I wanted to. I just had human faces going to keep me from being lonely. Right? It's better than a volleyball with a bloody face on it, right? So I'd look up, Wilson, right? But the last thing I want to do is listen to somebody's advice. Okay? Well, the best thing to make gold prices go up is inflation. Okay? And we don't have any right now. Okay? So anyways, I want you to rely completely on your own data, and I want other people to rely on you. You should be the one on TV talking about what you want to do. Okay? All right, so let's rip Beast apart. Let's take a look at Beast. I got to zoom in here. Okay? So, I guess now that I did that, I have to go all the way back up. Do you remember me drawing this purple area? I went back like 10 years to draw this purple area. How many people remember this? Say aye if you remember me doing this. I looked at the bottom from 2016 and I drew this. Okay? Great. Thank you. So now let's go back into a 15-minute chart. And the reason I drew this is I said you should be cautious. Okay? Then we were up here, and maybe this was just yesterday. I guess it was just yesterday. So I pointed this out in the swing trading group, and this could be a full stop. Okay? And right, and if you've taken the day trading course, you can see a step up that really emphasizes how dangerous this is if you're a bear. Okay? And it flipped beautifully. Beautiful flip. We also talked about retracing back to the 200 and all this kind of stuff on multiple time frames and all that, blah, 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 blah. But shields up, red alert is the idea. There's lots of clues here. Okay? And the price action is beautiful if you're planning a reversal. And check this out. Here's what bulls would have seen yesterday. Oh my God, Becky. Look at that entry. Holy smokes. It's sick. So the next move is Okay? We call that a Friday front run. But, oh my gosh. Okay? That's that. There's only one risk, the only one reason, HK Trader, the risk on is coming back. We talked about it on Monday. We talked about it on Tuesday. We talked about it on Wednesday. Thursday with the swing trading group, I even broke it down even more directly, like talking about what a portfolio manager would do. And we're talking about the bond market and what it's showing us, and we're, all these things. Okay? And you need to be cognizant if things have changed. You can still be a bear, but are these conditions conducive for bearish trading? Yes or no? If you were a bear all week and you just made money, you need to pay attention to changing market conditions or you will give all the money back. It's that simple. Okay? Remember on the way down, I said, look, you're selling in a downtrend. It's not because you're a genius. It's because the market is producing for you. Okay? Is it time to hesitate here as a bear? Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, and now we're at 130. Like, at what point does one notice the freight train heading towards them? Okay? That would be interesting. We don't know if that's in the cards. Does anyone think that the psychological level of 130 could be important to this? Oh, yeah. So don't do something equally silly like all of a sudden I show you again the possibility for risk on, so now you start buying. Because, well, that's not what the technical analysis says in the moment. In the moment, the technical analysis says at least some sort of hesitation or resumption. Okay? Well, again, HK Trader, I think all that's happened. Do you guys, let's go over the week again. I told you, I'm looking at stuff to buy. I told you, we've had like a Fibonacci retracement, somewhere between negative 25, right, and 3A2. You guys remember that? Just a few days ago, the stock market's down 25%. I said, there it is. There's my zone. Somewhere between 25 and 382%. Time to start buying. How many people heard that clearly? in the stock market. Right? Raj is asking me to make a decision. Raj, I don't know your bias. But if you are a bull and you are buying higher lows, then that would make sense to me. But you're going to have to do your own analysis. Wayne, when are you going to... I don't know. I feel weird about it, Barry. Oh, we hit, but I didn't go in, huh? We hit it, but I'm not in. Look at that. The spread. I didn't cover the spread. Shoot. I would be up $500 by now. All right, well. You all know the law. Well, it's hard to trade and coach at the same time. Faux show. So, wait, we did all of this. Let's move on to somewhere else. Let's move to this one. Okay. Remember, guys, I have to say it again. I have to remind you again. You're supposed to be planning tomorrow. You're supposed to be planning Monday. So like all these things like, hey, is 130 going to be resistance? That's what you were supposed to be asking yesterday, not today. You should already have that plan. That was yesterday's work. It's a horrible thing to be asking, like, we're at 129.92. Is it going to be resistance? Like, oh my God, where were you yesterday? That was yesterday's topic, right? So I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm trying to point out the way you're supposed to be working. I still hear a lot of questions and concerns about what's happening now. You understand? What's happening now? This is your concern, what's happening now? What's happening now was someone else's plan. So if the market is up now, it's because someone yesterday had a plan to buy low. So the fact that it's up now is almost irrelevant if you're a bull. Someone else has already made money. They already placed the trades hours and hours and hours ago, moved the market, and they're rich. They're filthy, stinking rich now. So the fact that it's up now is irrelevant because it's already happened. So, should I sell off 130? Well, other people already have that planned. So just to show up and go, now, should I sell here? And then tomorrow, should I buy that? Okay. So I can tell from the questions, I don't think there's a lot of planning. So please be careful. Again, I'm not trying to shame you. I'm trying to point out that I feel like lots of people are still reactionary, right? You're reacting. Oh my God, now we're all the way up here. Well, what did we talk about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday? Now we're at 130. Pound yen has moved 700 pips, and now you're interested, right? You're like, now you're interested, right? Right? No, you can't be that way, man. You can't be that way. Can't be that way. So, for example, we've been stuck here for days on gold. Okay? You shouldn't be on a 15-minute chart trying to figure out what to do now. What should I do today? Well, some people have been buying at the bottom. Some people have been selling at the top. Look at the clue train. Hello, right? So to get involved in the middle is not very good, right? Yeah, Anthony said, yeah, that rally off WTI really crushed EuroCAD. Yeah. Okay. But notice, like, when I'm talking about buying oil at 22, it's at the end of a downtrend, not after a 500 pip move up. And now, like, I'm not talking about it now. I mean, I'm showing you, like, what you can be doing, but it's the front work that you do is how you earn your value. Right? You see that? There's not much value in me now talking about oil because it already happened, but we talked about it before it happened, and I gave reasons why it would happen. And we talked about the price war. This isn't fundamental supply and demand. This is not an equilibrium price. This is a price war. Look at who's in the war, who's involved in the war. What are their costs? How do you win the war? Right? One producer of oil has to drop the price of oil to the point where everyone else on the planet loses and they go bankrupt. And once we know their number, we can plan where we're buyers. It was me at the same time I'm talking about back when Bank of America was $5 a share. Okay? And I'm like, you can buy it because there's no way the government's going to let this go bankrupt. There's no way Bank of America shares can go to zero. This is what I was talking about in 2008, 2009. I'm like, there's no way Bank of America will go from $5 a share to zero because it'll get bailed out at some point because it is Bank of America. The American government won't let it, especially with that kind of name. Right? So we talked about that. And I think it went down to like 480 and then went up to 60. But it's not good to talk about it after. We talked about it before. And, right? I told everyone the day I was buying it and stuff. It was great. So talking about oil a few days after the biggest rally in history and me giving you a complete understanding of what's going on is the value. Do you understand that? I gave a very detailed, I drew charts, I explained things verbally, I painted mental pictures, I did everything I possibly can to say this for multiple reasons, logically, emotionally, intellectually, technically, fundamentally, all of these reasons, oil around this 22, 20, right, dollar level is extremely important. Right? Right? Okay, so be careful. I think the questioning sounded to me, and I apologize if I'm wrong, it sounded very reactionary. Like it sounded like, what's going on, Wayne? What's going on? What's going on, right? And I'm like, what do you mean what's going on? What is your trade plan? What did you plan yesterday? Did you plan you were going to, is your plan A to sell it off 130? Because it's clearly a psychological level, right? What was that? What was that? Pound yen? Let's go back to that one. It was pound yen, wasn't it? I think I hit it here. Yeah. So you should be saying, Wayne, I have a plan A selling off the psychological level of 130. You know, what time frame should I look? Or what trigger would I look? Or can I use MACD? Or should I use the 5A cross? Or should I use the 2155 cross to confirm the resistance at 130? Because that's my plan A sell. you see the difference? The language of the question is very significantly different. And then let me show you this, another way of ripping this apart. If you believe that's resistance, then you're likely a bear. And we're outside, right? We're above the sell zone, so you can't really sell it now. You could try to use it for different reasons as the psychological level. But the next question is, what would you need to see tomorrow to sell this? Right? That's, again, on Monday. What would make you sell this? This is a much different questioning. You're not asking me reactionary questions. You're asking me forward-looking questions. And you're like, well, I was thinking of a drop like in this on Monday. What do you think about that, Wayne? And I can say, well, you definitely got the psychological level going for you, right? And you follow that up with a significant drop here, right? And then you're selling a lower high in the Monday's sell zone. Okay? And we start putting things like that. Like you should be talking Monday now. Not what should I do at 130? Is 130 resistance? Like, again, that feels like you just showed up and you're like, what's going on, guys? What's the game? What are we playing? What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? What? Right? What do you mean what's going on? Are you a bear? Do you have a trade plan here? Are you going to sell it off to 4-hour 55? And if so, are you concerned about you going for a double bottom or a higher low? Like, what do you think's going to happen? Where are we going to be at the end of next week? Those are, right? Because I'll tell you what, a bull is going to want this. So I should be able to ask you, what are the factors that would produce that? Well, you'd have to have a big risk on. You'd have to have the stock market up. You'd probably have to have some really awesome headline news between now and over the weekend. So the United States government does something crazy awesome, just free helicopters throwing money out of the sky, free market rally, and whatever. Somehow we're all saved. Great. Okay. Now, let's go back in time. How many times have you heard me where I said, I think if this is going to behave like China, that the vast majority of the illness is going to be in the window of 90 days. And 90 days from now, we'll have a vast improvement. All statistics will be less bad. And if that's true, and the market now, not the economy, so the economy is going to be crushed. So let's put that down. The economy will be crushed for at least 90 days. But the market will probably produce a buy in the next 30 days because they're not trading today. They're trading the future. And this was a couple of weeks ago, I said that I think in the next 30 days, you're going to have your opportunities. So can you understand my psyche? Like, you understand what that means, right? When I'm communicating this, right? I hope it is, because I'm trying to show you my thought process. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm developing my own plans and I'm putting them to work. I'm not trying to feed you a trade. Oh, actually you don't? Okay, you're a customer. That's helpful. Okay? That's very helpful to know that you, okay. So, if I'm a buyer and the market is falling, okay, I'm looking for evidence of a bottom and a resumption. Okay, so I need I need support and I need a change of trend. Okay, which is me filtering out through all the news. I'm looking for risk on sentiment. Okay, things like a jump in yield. Okay, which we got. Technical levels in the stock market. Right? Which we also got. And then in the market, in the Forex market, we need to see Swissy, yen, and dollar weaken. You could look for oil and let's say copper, if you trade copper, up. And a bounce in stocks. And then if I see all of that, right or wrong, I'm going to believe risk on. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, I told you to make a list of the top 10 stocks you've always wanted to own but couldn't afford. And be ready. Benji's like, that's basically what we have now. I know, but we've been talking about it every day for a week. But I'm worried that 3 weeks from now, most people did nothing. Like, so you got filthy stinking rich, right? No. Why not? Right? And then there's this big empty. Well, okay. So I've been doing unusual things to try to keep you guys focused. Things like me on a Sunday morning watching the sunrise and making a YouTube video for you. To you. I'm in my backyard, down by the lake, watching the sunrise over the water. The steam coming up. The cry of the loon in the distance. Uh-oh. Can't do it with a beard, apparently. That was terrible. Right? And I said, you know what? I need to reach out to Jean-Guy or to Daniel or to Ed. I need to remind Victor and Prince and Benjamin and Ron to say, hey, you need to be focused. These are the times. This is the time. It's not a plan anymore. It's not training anymore. It's time to step up. We're going into active combat. You understand? I said, this is it. To be the trader you've trained to be. So that's why, I'm sorry if I'm making a big deal of like, hey, well, what should I do at 1:30? Like, what are you talking about? Right? Cool, right? So anyways, I'm trying my best, guys. I know I can be better, but I'm trying. I got lots of responsibilities. But I'm trying to say this is important, right? Okay? So, are you planning tomorrow? Are you planning Monday? Let me ask you another interesting question. When the market opens, and for me it's Sunday afternoon, are you going to be at your charts ready to go? With a trade plan already in hand? It's a yes or no question. You either do it, right, or you fail. with a trade plan in your hand. Not like, hey, I wonder how it's going to open. That's nonsense. What do you mean you wonder? You got to be bigger than that. That's amateur. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. It'll be really interesting. I have no idea. Dude, that's not a plan. But even that, most people for some reason can't do it. They can't be at their charts when the market's open. They're just plan or no plan. Even the act of them showing up is virtually impossible. Because for you, it might be 10 o'clock at night. It might be 1 a.m. Wayne, it's 1 a.m. Yeah, I know you want to be a Forex trader, but you don't want to do the job right. I get it. I understand. Well, I have kids. I have dogs. I have work. I understand, brother. I've been there. I used to work from 10 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. You're like, well, that's pretty extreme. Well, when I wasn't a Forex trader, I was a venture capitalist, and I would get to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Before that, I'm wondering what job it was. But anyways, I was telling my kids the other day, so that's why it popped up. There was a time in my life when I would catch the 4:12 a.m. train. I had a trench coat, I had a briefcase, I had a newspaper. I felt like an adult, and off we'd go. Ding, 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 ding. I think that was when I was researching my first startup. Okay. Before that, when I worked at Cisco Systems, does anyone know Cisco Systems? I worked for them when they were a startup. They just built their first building for the executives, and that's the one I worked in. John Chambers, CEO of the company, came by my cube and he's like, hey man, welcome to the company. I'm John. Would you like some candy? I'm not joking. He gave me some candy. I'm like, hey John. He's like, what do you think about Cisco? I'm like, hey, I'm new here, but I like the fact that everyone is super aggressive about doing a great job. Okay? Let me tell you about my role what I used to do at Cisco. I wanted to hustle, especially if the CEO is going to come by. By the way, my boss's boss's boss came by my cube and he said, hey, I know you're relatively new here, but I want to welcome you to the team. He said, I'm walking to the other building. Will you walk with me? He didn't even want to waste the time from walking from one building to another, so he reached out to the new guy. Okay? I'm like, I love this company. I ended up hating it, but that's a long story. Anyways, I would get to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and because really the people I actually worked for were idiots. I didn't like them. So I'd get to work early to get most of my work done before they showed up, because they wasted so much time. It was ridiculous. My boss's boss's boss was awesome. But then there was a female manager who was already in the office at 6. I'm like, damn, she's a hard worker. So I'd show up at 5:30 and I'd walk by. Now the place is a ghost town. And I'd sit at my desk. I'm like, I'm the number one person at Cisco Systems. And I'd walk by and shit, she's in her office already. So I'd get to work at 5. And then I'd get to work at 4:30. Then I'd get to work at 4. Then I'd get to work at 3:30 in the morning. Son of a bitch, I'm number one at this company. Number one, first one in the office. And that's what I did. I had to be number one. So the story is, you got to do whatever it takes. If the market opens at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you might wake up your husband, you might wake up your dog, you might wake up your children, you might blah, 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 blah. Do it. You do it or you don't do it. You're in or you're not in. You're disciplined or you're not disciplined. Now, I understand the sacrifice. Believe me, I understand the sacrifice. I've made more than my share of sacrifices over the years. But it may be what's required. Okay? You need to be there when the market opens with a trade plan in hand, ready to go. I've done it where I'm throwing water in my eyes because everything is so blurry and I'm like, I can't even focus on these charts. You turn down the brightness and everything, but then you pull up your piece of paper and you're still rubbing your eyes and you're like, okay, I have the pound yen falling off 130. And it looks like I'm hoping this will be a weekly M3. I'm hoping this will be off a monthly. I hope the cycle level holds. Let's take a look. And the market opens, you're ready, you got your trade plan, and you isolate this at 130, and you're like, you know what, if I see a little bit of sign of weakness, the plan is to sell it off the 130 and put my stop right there, and then go back to bed. Okay? Daniel says it feels so good after you do it. You know, I still have these feelings where, you know, I go somewhere and I feel like I'm a currency trader, right? Like, I know I'm a currency trader, but it's good to feel like this is what you do and you are doing it. Right? Like, you're legitimate. This is legit. You make legit sacrifices, but you end up psychologically, when you start making money, you actually feel like you earned it. It's very, very important. If you don't feel, if you don't believe, if you don't think that you deserve it, you will self-sabotage. Some of you guys might have just made a small fortune trading these yen pairs and these Swissy pairs. Okay? Bear in mind, I told you on January 1st they were all going to fall. Okay, that's cool. And then we got hit by a virus and it was risk off and the whole market fell and everything collapsed. And the entire economy's got shut down. That's cool. And you made a lot of money. And some of it might have been luck. Some of it might have been dumb luck. Some of it is just, luckily, you know the difference between risk on and risk off. But you will self-sabotage if you're not actually doing the work. If it's only luck, you will self-sabotage. You will find a way to give it all back. I'll say, hey, are the market conditions still bearish? You're like, no, and then you'll sell. You see? You will self-sabotage. You will find a way to make the same old mistakes. You might even invent a few new mistakes that no one's ever done before because somewhere deep inside you don't believe you deserved it. You feel deep inside that it was luck. Somewhere inside you'll feel like it's going to all be given away and you will give it away. And it's just cliche. You might even be okay with it because you're like, oh, but that's what happens to most people. They make $10,000 and then they lose $11,000, right? And it's cool because, you know, it's just what happens to everybody. Okay? But you started because you thought you were special, and then when you end, you're like, it's justified because it's not special. Okay? So, you have a bias. Is this still bearish? No, well, it's bearish, but this is a take a pause moment here. This is why we have technical analysis. Because remember, what was your bearish trade plan? Up, up, down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 up, sell, right? Was that your plan, yes or no? So what the hell are we doing up here, right? What's all this then? No man's land. Yeah, if you're in the swing trading course, you know what I'm talking about. We had this conversation between no man's land and nomad's land. Anyways, catch up, right? Maybe that's the new word. That's catch up. So anyway, so now what? You're like, well, I have a plan. Okay? If we breach this, I back out. And I'm going to look for this now. Okay? And by the way, that makes this incredibly vulnerable. Cool. All right. Technically, you can still sell. Hell yeah, boy! Are you at resistance? Yes or no? Okay. Where's your resistance? That's the first question. Where's your resistance? Right? You got to break things down, guys. Ask yourself questions. Can you still sell this? Hell yeah! Where's your resistance? Show it to me. Convince me. Okay? I think if you were to convince me, you would know already 131, it looks a lot better than 130. But should you ignore 130? No, everybody can see 130. So if it rolled over on a 5-minute chart on 130, would you have sold it? Hell yeah. I still might sell it. Yeah, man, 130 viddy. Hey, man, if it does this. Wow. Does anyone play Far Cry? I just sounded like Herc there. If you guys know Far Cry. It sounded like Herc there for a second. I think Far Cry 5 is probably the best video game ever made. Then I played the newer one. It wasn't that good. And then we just bought the old one. It's not that good. I can't just run around and go anywhere. Far Cry 5 is like the best video game ever made. I actually miss it. It's funny, I don't get homesick for Canada, but I get homesick for Hope County. I'm like, I miss it, man. I just want to run through the forest. And yeah, that's why I'm exhausted. You should see, I actually have a tear coming down my eye right now. Yes, so sad, right? So, if you were a bear and this rolled over, would you sell it? Okay, cool. It's just a question. That's for you to answer. If you were a bear and it went, let's find another one. I need a little more. I need to back out slightly. I need next. Okay. If it went, let's say, if it went here to 130, 130, 150 to 132, would you sell it? Well, the thing is, when it rolls over, I'll sell it. You see? I'm just looking as a bear to look for places it'll roll over. And if it rolls over, I'm taking the shot. Now, to further reduce your risk, you're an expert in price action. Right? So you're looking for things that might prove the price action is dead on the upside. So you could say, well, this is good, this is gooder. Okay, you see this? Okay. Mary, yeah, Mary says has to disagree. I missed what you're disagreeing with. Oh, well, first of all, I'm not telling you if this will drop or not. I'm right. So someone was asking about 130 being some sort of. Yeah, Barry is the rocket launcher guy. Yeah. No, his cousin is the flamethrower guy. Right? So this is a bearish point of view. I'm not saying you should be a bull or a bear, but whoever asked the original question was a bear, I think. It was hard because it's hard to understand not having a plan and wanting to trade. It just seems weird to me. But that would be a bearish scenario. Bulls have had their wonderful opportunities. So Here's the breakout. Okay. And we're up here. How do you trade a breakout, guys? How have I taught you to trade a breakout all these years? Buy. Roll reversal. Pa-chow, pa-chow. Okay? Then it made a higher high. Yay! Now what do? Higher low off the old resistance. So as far as I'm concerned, bulls are buying this all day long. So I'm not saying it's bearish. What I'm saying is if you are a bear, you must wait for your confirmation. A confirmation would be, how about a lower high, right? Lower low scenario. Now you got game on as a bear. And by the way, if that happens, bulls, you need to recognize or pay the penalty. Okay, you see that? So I will never tell you to be a bull or a bear, but if you can make that decision, it's significantly easier. You will, I can't tell you you will make more money, but I can tell you you will stop losing so much. Because you will just get no trade after no trade after no trade if you're a bear in a bullish market. You will set this up as a bear and you'll say, okay, if this rolls over as a double top, I might take a shot. And then if it makes a lower low, I'll probably take another shot at the lower high roll reversal. So you got a plan A and plan B and it's all good and it does this. And it goes up without you and you never had a trade. Never lost any money, but you did your job correctly. And then you do it way up here at 132. And once again, it doesn't reverse. You don't get a reversal pattern. You don't get confirmation of your bearishness. Resistance is not respected. And you sat there for hours. You didn't trade and you didn't lose money. But I'll tell you what, if you've been doing this long enough, sitting around for hours waiting for a trade to set up and not losing money is so much fantastically better than sitting around for hours waiting for a trade and then losing money. I've worked 80-hour weeks and lost money. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I could have worked at Starbucks. I could have got stale muffins and free coffee, and they would have put money in my pocket. Instead, right, I look like a disaster. I feel like a disaster. And I lost a ton of money. You're like, it's so bad. I'm like, what could I have done with the $30,000 I lost? Let's see. Could have bought a BMW. That would have been better. I could have taken the month off and just traveled the Caribbean. 30,000 bucks gets you a lot of Ritz-Carlton. You're like, oh my God, I worked all this time and lost that money. You know, like, you can always find a better way to lose the money. Right? Better than working 80 or 90 hours in a week and throwing away a small fortune, right? Like, holy crapola. So that's why, like, when I see the questions come at me like, this is not Forex, but Fortnite, and you're like, where's the next shot? Let's take the next shot. What's the next thing? Let's throw a lot. You don't have the experience I have. The bad experience. You don't have the bad experience I've had of wasting, 80 hours in a week. I'm not joking. 80 and 100-hour weeks. And lost money. And have to face that truth emotionally and intellectually. And you start thinking like that, like, I could have gone to a 5-star hotel in the Caribbean and had nothing but lobster and champagne. But instead I gave it to somebody else on the other side of my trades. And now they're going to go to the Caribbean and live at the Ritz-Carlton and drink champagne and eat lobster on my money. Like, oh, fudge. Right? Like, it's not a cool feeling. So I've developed this, don't know why I can't zoom in. Something's messing with my setup. But which one is it? Oh, it's because it's old Wyatt, maybe. I protect myself. Okay? I protect myself. I protect myself by having an opinion. You may feel like I'm an opinionated person. I am. I wasn't always. I became one. I have an opinion on where this is going. And it's solid. Done. The next thing is, I know technical analysis. And I feel like I'm pretty good at it. So I will use that to confirm whether this is a good opportunity for me or not. And I've already learned I can go 3 or 4 days without trading because I know the conditions are not favorable for me, and I know what it's like to trade for 3 or 4 days and lose money. So I've already been trained by the market. I'm better off taking a walk than losing money. And by the way, another thing I've learned is in a losing period, let's say I lose for 3 days, 4 days in a row. The last 3 hours of the fourth day, I lose as much as I lose in the first 4 days, right? Like, it gets worse. It seems minor in the beginning, and then it seems unlucky, and then you got something to prove, and then, oh my God, I should have just taken the week off. Now, I coached someone just the other day where I'm like, don't take the week off out of fear, right? What I mean is stop trading when you don't get the market conditions you demand. You understand that? You're the one with the demands. This is not a negotiation with you. You're a bear. This is going to drop at resistance or you're not trading. That's that. Because maybe you haven't learned this like I have, but you can try forcing this down and the son of a gun won't fall. And you will give away your integrity. You will give away your strength. You can always make more money. That's not a problem. But you lose your personal integrity and you lose your inner strength. And that is difficult, nearly impossible to get back. Right? So I wait. I'm a survivor. I'll wait. I'll wait until my conditions are delivered to me, or I've been given something solid to adjust my bias with. And that is usually a central bank policy or something, right? Big things. And we've had some of these policies of, right? Governments around the world are giving us free money. At some point, I would expect a free money rally. Okay? So I want to make sure you backing yourself out and focused on seeing reality and then planning. I want you to be the boss. I want you to be strong. I want you to be demanding. Okay? I asked you a week ago to trade like the trader you want to be. 3 weeks ago, you guys might remember, I asked you to visualize what kind of person and what kind of life you'll be living 10 or 15 years from now. How many people remember that? This is before the big crash. But we knew something was coming. We saw the US stock market going up while the entire Chinese country was shut down. That's stupid, right? So I said, I want you to think about you in the future, having successfully traded Forex for 10 or 15 years. And I want you to think and even visualize what you do on a daily basis, what kind of trader you've become, and what kind of lifestyle you will be living. And then I said, I want you to do like draw it or take a picture or put a model up there, but somehow manifest it, right? And we talked about the power of visualization and then physicality. I said actually stand up and be that person, right? And we talked about being big and being strong. Visualize the confidence that you'll have in your capabilities. And then I explained to you that your cortisone goes down. That's your fear factor, your hormones that are produce fear, right? And then your testosterone, which gives you strength and confidence, that actually goes up. Okay? In 22 seconds, you can change your chemistry. You're chemically different, and it can be measured. Cortisone goes down, testosterone goes up. This is for men, for women, it doesn't matter. All it means is you are big and strong and powerful. This is what I asked you before the crash. Before the crash. And then during the crash, I'm like, this is time for you to step up and be that person. And I hope you're taking me up on these challenges because I know you have it. But sometimes you've got to be pushed out of the nest. This is happening, guys. This is happening. This is real. This will impact who you are 10 years from now. Why do you think we went through these exercises? My fear, though, is you ignore all of that. And you're like, that's a great video. That was great. And then you move right on to doing what you always have done. And that's my fear for you. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but you might be doing that and not really taking it to the next step. But maybe for 5% of you, it is. It will be a game changer. It will be a life changer. And the way I look at this, this is more than you making money. This is you taking care of your family, right? Providing food when could be food shortages. People lost 30% of their net worth. You might be making money right now. But this is even bigger than that. You have the opportunity in front of you right now, and you always have. So maybe this is a matrix moment where suddenly now you see it. You can change your legacy. You right now can be impacting your grandchildren, even if you don't have grandchildren now. Okay? You're changing your life. You can change the life of your spouse and then your children. And this will continue going to your children's children. What will happen is you'll live in a better neighborhood. Your kids will go to better schools. They'll be influenced by smarter people. They will be given a different path. And they will become better people and have better opportunities. And their children's, right? So now your grandchildren will have a whole different outlook of what reality is. Their reality will be completely different because what we do is we shelter ourselves in this mental bubble. And the bubble gets tighter actually as we get older. When you're a kid, you don't even know there's a bubble. Everything is possible, right? Everything is possible when you're a kid. And then you grow up, and then, your bubble gets smaller. Pretty soon you're like, I don't like spicy food. And you won't eat anything regardless of where it's from. If it might, my God, be spicy. You're like, dude, just eat it. It's, but we shelter ourselves, right? So to imagine now during your children's life, your life changes and you get better and all these things happen. You start living in better neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. And now your kids start seeing things and they understand. They remember poor and they like rich. Right? Right from the Wolf of Wall Street. I've been a rich man, I've been a poor man, and I choose rich every frickin' time. Right? That's from the Wolf of Wall Street. So now your kids might see it like, there was a time when times were tough, and then things got good. And then they teach their children not to take it for granted. So now your grandchildren's lives have changed. Then you die. But your grandchildren's children, and so on, are on a completely different path. Okay? I actually did one of those DNA tests, and I can track my family history over like the last 500 years genetically. And I was actually pretty amazed because you can almost overlap it. Now, I'm an economist, an economic historian, who's an amateur economic historian. I know, chick magnet, right? But now that I got my DNA, I can almost track and overlap the Industrial Revolution. And I'm reading into this, of course, because it's just DNA tracking. But I can almost say, this is where my family was, and this is how they moved through the Industrial Revolution as they migrated for work and potentially moved up in class. It's really cool that you might be changing your family's history of where they'll be 300 years from now. No one will even remember you anymore, but you're having that kind of, okay? Now, maybe this is too much of a soapbox scenario, but I'm telling you the truth. I actually believe this. This is bigger than making money. This is bigger than getting through this crisis. There'll be another crisis. You know how many crises I've been through as a currency trader? There'll be another one. But if you do this one right, you're going to hit home runs the next time. Okay? Many. Okay? Many. Okay? So, when I ask you to think about the trader you want to be in 10 years, and then the entire market crashes, and then I come back at you and I'm like, now I want you to be the trader you want to be in 10 years. And then you go through the week and did you step up or not? Did you step up or not? Right? I got up to watch the sunrise and thought about you and what I need to do to make sure you take care of your family. Think about that for a moment. And then I reached out to you. Did you step up? And this is one more wake-up call. If you didn't, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to break free, make the change, and fulfill your destiny? I can't do it for you. So if you can, let me ask you something. I want you to do something for yourself. First of all, I want you to click like. 50% of you haven't. And then 2, I want you to leave a comment to yourself. I want you to leave a message to yourself, a commitment to yourself in the video description once I'm done with this video. I want you to come back. You might have to wait 3 or 4 minutes for the video to be ready. But I want you to document what you're going to do to get through the next level, to make sure you're awake the next couple of weeks. If you've missed these last 2 or 3 weeks, you've been asleep. I don't know what more I could have done. I think kicking you in the ass would not have worked. I've done a lot, right? So you need to wake yourself up. This is real now. We're talking about your children's future now in your hand. I want to make sure you're taking it seriously. So my guess is probably close to 2,000 people will watch this video. Do you think we can get 200 people to leave a comment? No. No. It's too hard. They're probably watching a recording right now, and they could actually write it while they're listening right now, and they won't do it. Why? Because 95% of people fail. So how about this? Are you part of the 5% that can succeed? Do you have the work ethic, the integrity to follow up and act? Is this Forex or Fortnite? Right? Are you a kid or are you an adult? Are you in control or are you reactionary? Leave a comment, a commitment to yourself. Forget about me. Don't even thank me. Leave a comment to yourself on the recording of today's webinar and tell yourself your level of commitment and your radical commitment to change, to become the trader now that you've always wanted to be, that you've been training for. Leave a comment and let's see how many people will actually do it. 50 out of 2,000? Maybe? Yeah, it's too hard. See, here's the problem. The 95% fail, not because they're not smart enough, they don't have the right skills or something. They're unwilling or incapable of doing the work. That's it. So either you leave a message to yourself or you're incapable or unwilling to do the work. I look forward to it. I hope 300 people leave a comment committing to themselves that they'll do whatever it takes to become the trader they want to be and protect their family's lineage. But I bet you for most people, for the vast majority, that is too big of an ask. They can't do it. They can't even leave 2 sentences under a video. So can you? I don't know. Let's find out. So have a wonderful weekend. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. Oops. May your profits be above average. And I'd like to thank Traders Way for making this available to you. Diamonds in the sky. Have the best week ever. And be there at the open Sunday. Be there at the open. Trade plan in hand. You got this. This is yours. You got this. I hope you do it.